Hello Valley Low community, my name is Joe Rodriguez. I am the executive chef at your club. And as you can see today, we're in a different scenery. You're in my home, so welcome. We're gonna show you how to make a simple guac recipe today. So before I start my day, I usually like to start my day with some positivity. And I do that by putting a quote up in my kitchen. So this is what we have today. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Where there is life, there is hope. Stephen Hawking. So we're gonna start with our basic ingredients, which is avocados, onion, usually use a white onion, plum tomatoes, lime, a jalapeno just for added a little spice, and salt, pepper, and some cilantro, which I have in my bag. We're gonna start with the avocado. So with the avocado, you wanna split it down the middle. Nice avocado. So a nice little tip for when you're out at the store, the grocery store, just picking your avocados, you want to feel that they're a little firm, but yet a little bit soft also, okay? So the way I take the pit out is I take my knife and do one of these, and then I squeeze and gently turn, and it'll release. All right, so when cutting this avocado, we're gonna score it. We're gonna make nice little dices in the skin itself. Purpose of this is so that we get some nice, consistent mashes. If you take out the whole avocado and you start mashing it, it seems like a little lumpy when you start mashing it. Some places will be lumpier than others. So with this, we're just gonna be a little more consistent. Be careful not to go all the way through because you can cut yourself. Let's take a nice spoon, just go around the avocado, and it should all just come out real nicely. Again, try not to add any of this dark stuff. And that's it. All right, so now for the onion, what we're looking for is a medium dice. So we're gonna take, usually this is how I cut it. Everyone has different styles of cutting their own onions. But I take the bottom end, leave the root on, cut it straight down the middle between the root, so that way it holds it. You can hold it all together intact. And I just peel off one layer. Nice little tip, these you can use for making stocks or anything that you're cooking for a long period of time. Usually that's what we use at the club is we use any ends and recycle and put them in the stock that we leave cooking overnight. All right, so now with the onion, we have the root end intact. I'm gonna do a couple slices, not all the way in, so I want it to stay intact with the root that's holding it together for me. And as you can see, they're about the same consistent slices. Okay. So now after this, since it's a nice little medium dice, I'll run my knife straight through, put it back together, and then just go straight down. All right, for the tomato, guys, we're gonna take the bottoms off, and we're gonna split it right down the middle. Okay, again, we're gonna take our spoon. You're gonna take out the seeds in the middle. now we're just gonna dice. We're looking for about the same dice as our onion. And if you're noticing, I'm not cutting from the skin, I'm cutting from inside. Reason for that is much easier to cut, and sometimes if you have a dull knife, you can potentially cut your finger because it won't go through the skin. Now for the jalapeno, we're going to take the top off, split it down the middle. Okay, and you see these white membrane, take it out. Careful when you're cutting it. Such a small area, potential to cut yourself is pretty high. Get all the seeds out. Seeds are very dangerous. Catch your knife on there and it'll slip all over the place and it can cut yourself. Okay. So now that we've taken out all that white vein, we're gonna do the same thing, just flatten it down, same thing. For this, I'm looking for a smaller cut. Reason for that is you don't want to bite into a big chunk piece of the jalapeno, so make them a little smaller. They spread out a little bit better. Nice little brunoise. All right, so now for the cilantro, we want to just use the leaves, okay? So no stems, and what we want to do is just chop. So for the next part, we're just going to put it all together and mash it. I'm using a molcajete, very traditional in Mexico. Mashing everything together. Really want to just make it into a pulpy consistency with some chunks left in there. Add a little bit of kosher salt. And this is all to taste. It's all for preference here. After you get it to where you want it to be, start adding all of your ingredients that you have prepared. Start out with the onion. And if you're asking about the recipe, it will be attached to the video. Add our tomatoes. Add our jalapenos. Add a little bit of our cilantro here. And about an ounce or so of lime juice. We're also going to add some black pepper. And for this part, we don't want to mash the beautiful ingredients that you have cut. So we're just going to mix. All right, so now we just want to taste it. Or like our clubhouse manager, Sam, likes to call it quality control. Likes to stick his chip in my guac. It's great. Simple, you taste all the flavors in there. Onion, little tomato, a little heat from the jalapeno. That's really good. All right, so now we're gonna show you guys how to make quesadillas. It's my lovely wife. She's gonna help me make some quesadillas for you guys. Say hi.
Hi.
So this is the brand that we use. We use the Supremo brand pork chorizo and the Supremo Chihuahua cheese. Now we're just gonna cook the chorizo. Don't want to start out with a hot pan on this. Reason for that is you start with a hot pan, it starts spraying everywhere, so nice cold pan. Little fork, just mash it down. So on this side we have a cast iron skillet. Spanish we call it a comal. Use El Milagro tortillas.
So basically what I do with the tortillas is I'm kind of like lightly heating them up. It kind of depends like what you're going for. If you want obviously like a crunchier quesadilla, you would leave it on a little bit longer, but for me I prefer more of like a softer quesadilla. So I just I lightly heat them up, and then once I kind of flip them over on the other side is when I start going with assembling. So I put some cheese on and I try and kind of concentrate it so it gets more on the outer side, like
On the edges.
on the edges, yeah. That. And as soon as the cheese is on, I do my chorizo. You don't want to do too much because you want to be able to close the tortilla when you're done with it. Then I'm going to go in. This is completely optional, but I like to do a little bit of like fresh tomatoes.
These are little extras.
Fresh avocados, you know, if you have anything extra from
making the guac.
For making the guacamole, yeah. So just a little bit, that. Try and get some smaller pieces so we can close it. Then I'm just gonna take a fork really easily, and I'm gonna make sure kind of everything is centered in between, and I'm just gonna fold it over, and if you see anything slipping out, just try and like put it back in with the fork. Very simple, very easy. That, and then you could always just give them another little flip. That, and then they're ready.
And there we have it. Chorizo quesadillas with avocado, tomatoes, nice guacamole, chips. Nice quick lunch. Thanks for spending some time in our kitchen. See you guys soon.